Welcome to the Alberto Crane Show. Today's guest is a true legend in the world of martial arts, UFC veteran, multiple-time Coach of the Year, and the founder of the Bang Muay Thai system. He's trained world champions, set striking records, and continues to evolve the game with precision, power, and passion. Please welcome the one and only Sensei Duane Bang Ludwig.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. It's good to be back, sir.
Yeah, man. Crazy to be on the mat with you last night.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're staying busy and family, kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Catch up a little bit, you know? We're always
Yes,
running
sir.
around and doing different things.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Yeah. I was kind of remembering, I think I was telling Ricky last night that I think I had my King of the Cage title fight, you know? And then the weekend after, you know, I went up to Colorado, and I think they made you like a judge or something. You know, like remember the pancrase grappling, whatever it was. It was kind of like a mixed kind of rules, you know, no gi, whatever. And it's like, hey, didn't I just watch you on TV last
weekend competing again?
Yeah.
That's how it was back then.
And it was a big fight, right?
Yeah.
It was a big fight, right? A really big fight. And so, didn't you just fight last week? I was like, yeah. You know, and then we started talking more. Yeah. Of course, I've known you forever. From your early days of fighting at the castle, through your manager, Sven Bean, longtime friend, manager, Sven Bean.
He's awesome. He's a good dude. He's still in the game, too. He's working for we're building the LFA. Brand, and we're working with that to close down the Ring of Fire, or they bought him out. I'm not quite sure what the transition was. Right? Yeah, but it's been good. He's still in the business. You're still in the business. So am I. We're supposed to be here.
Yeah,
it's our passion, our destiny. So it's been a good journey. And I'm blessed and privileged to still have this connection. So thank you, sir. It's been good.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
The CE continued education, huh?
Yeah,
journey continues.
Never stop, right? Never
Should
stop.
Not. That's when you die. So gotta stay alive, stay in the arts.
Yeah, man.
Continue to share and push forward.
I was telling one of the guys last night, I had another memory. Just these memories pop up, right? And I remember, you know, I watched you for years, like head kick people to the death, you know.
I've had some good moments.
And then I was showing my kids actually a highlight of one of the highlights, your highlights, and anyway, I was in front of you. We were at what was the name of the? It was like an MMA gym. Everybody would go there.
Oh, TSKO.
TSKO was So we were there, and then it was only striking, like no takedowns, you know. And you were walking me down. It was like close quarters too. I'm like, oh man, you know, like one of those like, all right, just hands up, chin down, you know, hands up, you know. Inside I was talking, I was like, oh shit. Sorry. And I'm looking at your shins, you know, and it says like, it's like bang, bang, bang. Your name is bang tattooed to your shins. I'm like, oh man, please don't head kick. Hands up, chin down.
Good times. It continues. We've had some. So Trevor, to jump around a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got his Onyx brand with the new gloves and such, right? But he's got a training facility now, and he's trying to mimic the Performance Institute in Vegas. And I went over and looked at it 2 days ago, just before I came here, and it is state of the art, awesome. He's just looking to again duplicate the PI Institute and have people come out and do their camps there. And it's really close to the mountains. The mountains are just the Front Range is right across the street, and it's just pretty secluded out there. Sauna, cold plunge, full weights, cage, bags. It's state of the art. It's just, which in all honesty, you don't need any of it. Well, maybe some of the sauna and the recovery stuff, but you're going to have a chef there. Really cool setup. But as far as people who were still in the game from many years ago, Trevor's still in the game, is still at the top of it, and having high-level people rent out the facility.
I mean, he's got, who does he have? Rose, right? He's in Rose's corner.
I think Rose is still working with him. Usman, Gaethje, quite a few people go and spend a part of their camp with them. There's one thing I was to talk about too is camps and how you were fighting for a world title one weekend and the next weekend still competing. Because now people are like, oh, I don't have a full camp. It's like, I've never heard that word when we were competing. You just fought, right?
Yeah, you get the call, or you get the opportunity, and you take it,
ready
right?
to go.
Especially going to Japan, fighting over there, right?
But
you're always kind of ready, right? You're always like fight ready. For much.
I thought that's just what it was, right? And I don't know if that was the uninvolved aspect or if now is the current aspect. But as far as putting in a full camp, and it makes sense, to hopefully be as close to 100% for competition as possible. But I've had people, in the dojo say, not want to take a fight. Not that I have a fight team, but some people say, tell me about not taking a fight or so on because they didn't have the opportunity to have a full camp. Every time I hear that, I'm like, kind of like,
how many fights have you done between MMA, all the stuff, your Muay Thai?
I had over 100 fights.
Over 100 fights.
Amateur and pro. And even like we would have the fastest knockout. So that one always comes to me because it was super cool.
UFC fastest knockout.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was in one of the highlights. Dana White. That was 5 seconds or whatever it was.
That was very cool for him to do that, to make it official under his rule book. But I wasn't training at all at the time. I was doing electrical work up in the mountains when Sven Bean called me and asked me to say the UFC call. They want you to fight in 2 weeks. And I was like, I can't make 55 in 2 weeks. And they're like, well, is it 170? I was like, sweet, I'm in. So I called my boss. I was like, hey, I'm up here working in the mountains right now, for you. But can I get the next 2 weeks off so I can go train and do a fight? Get my 2-week camp in? And he's like, sure, go ahead. So, yeah, it was one of the greatest opportunities of my career, greatest moments of my career, and it was just a fly by night 2-week notice, and it worked out for me. So
yeah,
can't let those opportunities pass up. But I've taken short notice fights before as well, and it didn't work out. So. But I also had full camps, and it didn't work out. So just kind of
like the jiu-jitsu too, right? But wrestling and my daughter wrestling and stuff too. It's like, are you you've done over 100 fights, right? So how many that the whole thing, like, are you like, there's always something, right? How many times are you out of all those 100 fights? Are you 100%?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, and. Yeah, it's probably slim. Who's ever 100%, right? Yeah. And speaking of this topic, I remember I was at the Winklejohn's gym in Albuquerque years ago, and this pro boxer came in to spar with me, but actually we didn't spar because he said he didn't drink enough water that day. And I was like, well, I guess it's good to be hydrated, but I also kind of thought he was kind of being a pussy as well. I was like, what if you have to just fight? Like, you can't be, hold on, I can't fight right now. I didn't have a full camp in. We shouldn't be fighting anyway, I guess, streetwise. But, yeah, I never had that. I thought just part of the martial art spirit was you take the fight when it comes. Not that you have to take on every challenger, but it's, you're ready to go when you're ready to go. That's part of the martial art lifestyle. But I guess, a bit different as far as a career. And back then, we're fighting for free. And now people are making a lot more money as well. So you got to be smart about it, right?
Yeah.
In title contentions, if this fight is going to possibly get you in line for the title fight, or pull you, 10 steps back, then you want to be smart if you can, and maybe postpone the fight to a better time for your career. Try not to talk down on it, I guess either. Maybe it's I don't know if it's ego or what it is, but yeah, we just took fights when they came up, right? Well, that's when they asked me to fight BJ Penn in Japan, because nobody wanted to fight him. I guess apparently Gami turned him down.
Gomi,
and who else was the big name at the time? A couple people from the U.S.
He was the number 1 ranked lightweight at the time.
Yeah,
right?
he just
in the world.
And apparently nobody wanted to fight him. And Kimwin called and asked me if I fight, and I was like, "Well, I haven't been doing jiu-jitsu for a year and a half, but how much you paying me again? All right, 50 grand, I'll take the fight."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Thank you, Mama. He's maybe over there, sweetie.
Walk around.
Yeah, it was just.
Hold on.
Sorry, I forgot the train of thought was going, but
we were just talking about you fighting, getting the fight, the call for to go to Japan, fight BJ Penn, right? You're like, how much? Okay, let's go.
It's like, I'll do it. But you take the opportunities, the challenges, right? Because that's part of the story as well. It's like, how did you perform under short notice without training? And like that was another challenging piece, and we need those things to find out who we are.
Yeah,
you don't know really who you are until you lift that 10-pound weight, and then maybe I can do a 30 or maybe a 50, or how do I do against this white belt or this blue belt or this purple belt, this brown belt, this black belt? And you need these challenges and these things to tell you who you are and hopefully grow from those experiences. Like last night rolling, it's, I'm trying to figure out the puzzle of jiu-jitsu, and then the flow of jiu-jitsu versus my flow of jiu-jitsu. And I want to talk to you about this as far as like what makes a black belt or a brown belt or a purple belt. Like, should a brown belt or a purple belt know XYZ, or should they be, have a black belt level understanding of 3 or 4 moves like Marcelo Garcia? Or does he butterfly, arm drag, rear naked choke? Like that's his gold, right? And everyone knows it, but they weren't able to defend it. So it's an interesting aspect of, should a person know this plethora of moves, or should they be good at these few pieces of the puzzle. What are your thoughts on that? As far as
so we, one of my black belts, Brian, we did a podcast and he asked me those questions like, what is a blue belt mean, purple belt, and all those all the different belts and coral belt, and I was there was a definition. I don't know who said it. Somebody on some podcast. What is a blue belt under like Helly Gracie? And somebody that can defend themselves, right, against
nice.
In a fight, whatever. Something goes down, you can how to defend yourself, right? So like the basics, like basics, kind of basics, like you can handle yourself. But I think the blue belt, being a blue belt, there's a big level, there's a big a range, right? Beginner blue belt to like advanced blue belt, and especially when you start to get into people start competing in sports jiu-jitsu, and you have that aspect, right? Because the jiu-jitsu, as far as the fight, right, self-defense aspect, people come in maybe for that, but then they stay for the lifestyle.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah.
The way of life, the tournaments, the this and that, and then if maybe they keep going like I did, like start fighting, right, professionally and stuff. Or maybe that's what they want in the beginning. Everybody has different paths, right? But I think there's a big range. So to put it simply, like to get a blue belt, I think is that Helly Gracie definition. So then I think purple belt is you have you're kind of you're high level. You have purple belt's a big deal in my opinion. So you should have some systems set up. You should have some some games, right? Depending, of course, there's different levels of purple belts, right? Like a young guy to dad, or you know what I mean. So there's different levels, but you should definitely have a technical level of you have go-to moves, right? Starting to develop your game. Brown belt's more polished, right? And then black belt, I know many guys that they're become black belt world champions with 2-3 moves.
Yeah.
So just like mastery, right? It's just going deeper into those things. To put it simply, yeah. But you start to get your games, you start to get certain things, and of course, hopefully, you add as the time goes on, right? Yeah. To your 2-3 moves, to be right. And martial arts that's why we have Bang Muay Thai, because I believe in being the best martial artist, the most complete martial artist you can be, right?
Thank you, sir.
And then the grappling and the striking, right? And then same thing with jiu-jitsu. You should be complete, right?
Yes, sir.
Gi, no gi, you should know self-defense stuff, how to fight, right? But also, jiu-jitsu, like tournament and, those kinds of things too. Like be a complete, takedowns, guard,
So I had this conversation with Elliot Marshall as well, and he gave me a good example, which I thought was true to this day, is you have your black belt students who always show up, always train, work with any and everybody, but then maybe they don't want to be in front of a crowd and teach class. Then you got your black belt instructors as well who can meet the student at their level and build them up. Then you have your black belt competitors who maybe can't articulate and demonstrate or run a class.
Great.
But there's those 3 categories, right?
That's
as far as again, a student, instructor, and a competitor.
That's great.
There's people, if those 2 or all 3, have that plethora in between. So, because again, some people, maybe they don't want to compete or be running a class, but they know all the moves, can take a white belt in the corner and connect with them and, look them in the eyes and build them up and help them become a better version of themselves, And so that's an interesting aspect as far as, sharing our system. It's been having something to connect with them and, personality-wise, help them become, again, a better version of themselves, right? So I was going to keep that in mind as far as the competitor, the instructor, and the student aspect. Because I have a few students who are a bit older. Pops, he's a black belt of ours. He's 65.
Oh, wow.
And he's been very, very consistent. And he's never going to compete. He's 65.
Yeah.
Doesn't really want to teach, the whole class. Asks to run a class sometimes for me. And he's like, I'll do it, sensei. But he starts like fumbling the words and getting nervous in front of the crowd, But he'll always take the new student off to the corner.
Yeah.
And,
his presence, right?
His presence. Yeah, he cares. And one of my pursuits is in life, and since I was a child and to this day, is to figure out what is a black belt. And Pops, who again is 65, is showing me what a black belt is. Like I thought I knew, but now I just found a new layer, right? Like it's that guy. It's the competitor, someone like you who've done all 3 and can do all 3. So it's brought on my perspective, and I thought I was the one who was teaching, but then the ones who were teaching me. So it's cool how it continues to evolve and have new perspectives, and it's just martial arts it's beauty. There's just so many layers to it, and just continue to evolve and show you what you think what you thought you knew, but there's actually more layers to the onion. Huh?
That's it. That's it. So you said a little bit. So just simply put, what does a black belt mean to you?
To me, it again depends, I guess, on the category, but I would say a respectable human being who knows the said art, whether it be taekwondo, karate, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, our system, who can demonstrate, articulate, and meet the student at their level and build them up, right? Who's going to hold themselves with courtesy and respect and honor and pay it forward to help another person become a better version of themselves, right? Because there's a million killers out there, but if they're not sharing the art, then they're not helping back the community. So I think it'd be someone who can make a positive impact on someone's life credibly, but then again, not to degrade the fighter aspect, because maybe their performance inspires someone, because look how inspired we are from movies and performances, you know? So I think there's different layers, and like I was referencing before as well, which I got from Elliot Marshall, is, again, the black belt student who can, again, meet someone at their level and build them up, and maybe it's individually or in a class setting or with the performance under the bright lights, you know?
Yeah, there's different.
The main goal is to hopefully inspire someone to make that step forward to become a better version, would be a black belt to me. And there's black belt florists, black belt cooks, black belt mechanics, you know, who are helping people.
That's it. That's well said. That's it. Ultimately, it comes down to that, right? Martial arts makes you a better version of yourself, and whatever path you take, no matter what, you're lifting people up, right, around you, with yourself and everybody around you.
Yes, yes. And the definition of martial, meaning war, and art, I would say art. Well, let me ask you this: what do you think the definition of art is?
Art, creativeness, you know, flow, you know, being free, creative, flow, art.
I like it. I love it. But the one thing that's been coming to me, and maybe there's an actual definition in the dictionary, but I would say the expression of the human soul, like what's inside.
Expressing yourself right through.
And then when you said flow, it's like efficiency, like, you know, allowing it to be effortless, right? And now that correlates into life as far as being having good flow with our time, our finances, our relationships, you know. Coming out here to see you and your crew again, you know, it's good to reinvest into the family and spend time together again. Just making sure we're utilizing everything that God's given us to its most efficient flow, and then that correlating to ninja, meaning to sneak well. And the way I look at that is just, again, being efficient. You know, why spend 10 when it costs 5? Just like rolling with the black belt last night, he was just solid as a rock, and when I tried to move, he just boom, boom, and I'm like, man, I thought I was getting better at jiu-jitsu. I need to look back at this curriculum book and see where I'm missing, where the holes are at. But it's such a cool reminder of how, like what Gichin Funakoshi said, that karate, and you could take karate out and put any art in there, but karate is like a pot of boiling water. If you don't keep it consistently heated, it'll cool. So it's like just staying on the path, you know, and how hard do you go? And it's not necessarily hard, but again, efficient with your moves and again, your time and energy and everything. So being as smooth as you can be.
That's great.
With this. And like, you know, the Hoist Gracie painting you have behind you. You know, when I haven't spoke with him personally about this, but, you know, he's still old school jiu-jitsu. Like there's, you know, his set of 10, 15 moves, and he's locked those down to a black belt level, right? It's like, that's what art is being able to do the basic levels at a black belt, basic moves at a black belt level, right? Being efficient with it all. So I don't think he's doing the daily Hiva guard and all the newer things.
You know, it's cool when I had him out here I had him in New Mexico back in the day, and then I was like, he still had the same number, and then he was during the pandemic. He was like, oh yeah, I'll come by because he had time, right? And you know, like after fighting and you know many years and coaching and all that. It was cool, man, to have him do the old school like foot stomps to close the distance.
Cool.
But it's like it's relevant. It works, you know. If the guy, there's no gloves, like it works.
Yes, everything he did at UFC 1 is still 100% true today.
Yeah.
So it's like just how it goes.
He has a new podcast in that he said they asked him what his
Horace Gracie has a new podcast.
What his favorite move is. It's like whatever's presented.
Whatever's presented.
The market gives you.
That's interesting right there. Whatever the market gives you. Because that's assumed like you're I mean, not to, I take that as almost as if you're waiting for something to come, but then also there's things you can do to make your opponent make certain moves to give you things as well. But obviously he's aware of that. But just like the 50% arm bar, so they pulled out, so you go to the triangle, right? Or you're just touching the jab to slam the cross or whatever it may be. So touching and creating, but allowing things to be present. But then you can create those opportunities as well, which I found just in life and in the striking. You know, if you're dropping the jab for the overhands, you can check hook, or they get them to reach for the double and so on. So yeah, that's interesting. But of course, yeah, that's right. He's taking what's present at the moment. True, right? Not to be too far ahead, but to be present.
He said his favorite is what's there.
Yeah.
His favorite is what's there.
Yeah, I like it.
That's it.
It's true. Yeah, I can't go against what he says. You know, there's like, it's joking. You always hear like, you know, master of martial art, or master in karate, or master of this. Like, he's legitimately a master.
Yeah.
So as you are, we spent our lives we dedicate our lives to the arts to see what's in them and what's in us, and then to mirror those two things together and bring it into oneness. So
yeah,
it's a good.
Yeah, it has to be the art, right? And I can't help but think about, you know, we always talk about energy, and you know, we're mainly energy. If you look at an atom, it's like 0.0001 mass, like the nucleus, right? And then everything else is like electrons and space, right? And energy. And so like you do things like that raise your energy level, right? Like, for example, I've known you forever, and talk about combos, talk about different things, and man, you're on top of the stratosphere. You're like your energy is so high, you're so excited about it, you know.
I love it.
I mean,
yeah.
just me talking about it is getting you excited, you know. So
I'm trying to be calm here, by the way. I'm like sitting and relaxing.
So as long as I've known you, right, and of course you fighting and stuff, but then you talking about it, you know, as even when you were in the heyday of your fighting, right. And so I think, right, we're talking about energy. The art, right, is being excited. So having fun, like whatever work we do, like, you know, like we work with this, that, we have fun, man. We have fun. We're like laughing, we're doing stuff, we're creating, blessed. You know, and we're flowing, you know. So it's all like, I think that's it, you know, being in flow, you know, and then being in that high energy state, right? Those things that kind of appear, right? You're in the high frequency level, and then, you know, it attracts other things like that, right?
Yes, yeah.
And so art in a way is that, right? If you know, I used to like paint and stuff a lot when I was younger, when I was a kid, and so you're just like in that zone, right? Like the flow state, like
flow state, yeah.
time, you know, you don't know what time it is, you know, just you're so focused, right? And your energy is like really high because you're just like. You're I don't know, you're being creative, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And so I think the same thing with jiu-jitsu, martial arts, whatever it is, right? Or any kind of work, right?
Yes, sir.
Being a chef, right?
Yes, yeah.
And being in that state, you're at your best, right? And I think that's what we try to, you know, like be contagious with, right?
Yeah, share that. You get inspiring with it, right? And in North America, we look at that as being in the zone, right?
In the zone,
and
yeah.
the
That's
Japanese say this mushin,
yeah.
Of no mind,
no mind,
to
that's
be present in the moment, right, and allow the flow state to happen. And I was talking with my students a couple of days ago.
Be nothing, be nowhere, right?
yeah, right. Everywhere, nowhere. I said, raise your hand if you think practice makes perfect. Everyone raises their hand. I'm like, practice makes habits. So it depends on how you practice, right? So if you practice sloppy technique, that's how you can perform it, right? And that goes back to what Musashi said. You're gonna fight the way you train. And I still don't fully believe that, but I understand what he's saying because I know there's people like TJ Dillashaw, for example. He performs better in the cage under the lights than he would in the gym, which I thought that was always more valuable because of what he was pursuing to do. There's killers in the gym who can't perform under the lights, right?
Pitbulls in the gym, but you know, little chihuahuas in the cage and
right?
under the lights.
So it's just allowing, but I'm always fascinated by. Is it the extraction of one's potential? Also with us, you know, giving them things to hopefully get their skill set down. So one of the ways that I found to be most valuable with instructing a student is watching what they do live and watering that, you know, extracting that potential rather than saying, here, do this, only do this. Like, I don't care what you're naturally good at, but do this. But it's a combination in between, right? And the same thing for us as parents with our children.
Yeah.
Where's their natural tendencies and their passions, their intuitions? Like, let's water that plant, you know? So
yeah.
I got 2 boys, and they're very similar, but also very different. And one's going to be, I feel, more physically gifted to do certain things mechanically. Another kid is really tech savvy, but he's actually pretty physically gifted as well. But their natural intuition one's way better at doing more electronics, and I say electronics, but the internet stuff. Or whatever,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I
more
hear you.
tech-based, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
I'm with you.
The other one's more mechanically inclined. So it's like, should I put him in front of a book, or should I put him in front of a set of tools? So I got to make sure I'm doing the right thing as a parent, and the same thing as an instructor, right? It's like meeting the student at their level. And some people are better in top position and bottom position and so on. So where should they spend their time? So it's just always fascinating to me, because one of my services to this world while I'm here is to impact people's lives for the better, hopefully. So it's just always my own world of being valuable while I'm here.
Yeah. That's it, right? Like with the kids, right? What they're, and then you get connected. They get excited, right? And then because they're excited, now they're open to learning discipline, learning this, learning that, learning the things that you wanna give to them. But if you're not open to the things that they're into and get them excited, right? You're not gonna, like you're saying, meeting them in the middle, right? I hear that. I'm working on that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, as we all are, right? As we should be, trying to be more efficient with their time and everything, and point people in the right direction for their natural intuition and purpose of how they've been downloaded and wired, and they're extracting their potential. So it's a good endless pursuit, right? To figure this all out.
Yeah.
But you've been to Japan. Have you been to Thailand before? You've been in Thailand.
I went to Thailand after one of my fights. I would try to do a trip, because I would have fight camps, and you're like 100% focused on everything. So I'd always try to do a trip with Adit afterwards. Take her somewhere. So one of the places we went to was Thailand after one of the fights, and so we did Bangkok, Phuket, and.
You've been all. You're true ninja.
We had some, from King of the Cage days, right? Like Ray Elby was running that Tiger Muay Thai at the time.
That's
so
right.
He's been asking me forever.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he was running that for a long time, and so he invited me and took me, set me up with everything and mopeds and.
Oh, that's so super fun.
Whatever.
Just free.
Yeah. And
not like financially, but like you just feel free there.
Yeah. You had friends, and I did a workshop. I did a couple seminars, right, for him. Yeah, and it was really good. Added value to him, right, to the.
How's Japan?
I love Japan, man. Like maybe 2004, 5, 6, maybe. I went there I was going there like 3 or 4 times a year. And did a couple books and fought, competed. Took students to compete. Fought. We went to Pride too. Which is really cool. I love it. I think I was telling, because me and Kevin, a couple of the guys who were there, we went there with my family too, this last month, and I love it. I love it. I just get kind of homesick after like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 2 weeks is good for me too.
But I love the culture. I love the everything. It's like so different.
The orderliness,
right? Orderliness,
yeah,
right? Just everything. Like even the snacks and just all the little things, like the 7-Elevens, whatever the different names of the 7-Elevens are over there.
How do you feel? So like it's clean, it's organized. It seems like everyone's on the same page. Would you feel that? But within that cleanliness and orderliness, do you feel any like the suppression in the populace as far as? Do you think people are overworked or stressed out at all?
For sure. Yeah, that's I think the culture is that, right? Like the Budo, that's like you're a servant, and you serve the master, like back from the emperor days, right?
Yes.
You're like a soldier, you're a samurai for whatever you do, and it's not really healthy, right? To live that way.
I'm curious about that as far as that, because what I'm kind of getting at is with that. If you want to call it suppression or orderliness, how much creativity is being suppressed with that?
Right. Me and Amal were talking about that the first time I went down to Japan. Like for example, like America, right? We're so creative. We have music, this art, this, that, right? Brazil too, right?
Yes.
But Japan, they kind of get things right, but they make it better. Like Toyotas and whatever, they get certain things and then they make it better because they're so like disciplined and meticulous and.
How many things Japan's actually originally created? Curious about that, because you said they take things and make it better.
Yeah, I'm always kind of saying that overall. That's just a broad thing to say, but overall, kind of like just compared to like America, we've so many different things with the arts and different just different things, right? We put out there in the world,
and it seems like they've brought a lot of things like to the market, right?
Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
making things better and stuff. But now I was going to correlate that
From the cars to the
the electronics and stuff.
I mean,
right?
the
Motors.
electronics, right? It's like Toyota or whatever Honda. They're known for the quality of their cars, right? And they came in like the '80s, right? They were like they're crushing the U.S. companies, because they're so meticulous, and you can trust. You can trust that they're gonna come out with I mean, I have a Toyota truck, right? And I love it. It's gonna last forever. You know?
Yeah, they do last forever, don't they? Good quality.
Good quality, yeah. So it's nice, right? You have a trust built because of the way they do things. And it was interesting too, because I took with my family out this last month, and I took my daughter to do some wrestling there, right, too. And then of course I go down the rabbit hole, like trying to understand like how do they get such a good wrestling program, in Japan? Like the women's is like completely dominant in the world of women's wrestling. Guys too, this last Olympics in Paris, they crushed it,
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so like, how did that happen? And it was a judo guy, and it's them implementing like the budo, like the way of life, right? The way they do things into wrestling.
Yeah, the discipline, the honor, the respect, all the intangible qualities that it takes to make a champion.
Yeah, all the character things, right? And they just steady.
And that's going to extract, their potential. But I'm curious of how, and the goal is to be happy, but how happy are the students? Like, it's good to win, but I'm just curious, like their quality of life internally versus what I was going to get to.
It's a philosophical question, right? And it's like, I took my wife for her birthday to India, right? And one of the tour guide was a double PhD. One was in meditation, and one was in philosophy.
Oh.
So we,
so
we started talking, and he's like, yeah, meditation is in working too. People think, oh, it's just meditation, not thinking about anything, but actually being in that zone, being really into whatever you're doing. Like for you, for example, when you teach, when you share, martial arts, your frequency is like through the roof, right? And so I think whatever you do, like just be excited about it. Like your kid, or one of our kids, like electronics and whatever it is, like they get excited about that. That's being in the zone. That's being at your best self. But of course, we need other things too, right? You can't just do that,
Yeah.
Can't just be on the computer or whatever all day,
Yeah, short, mid, long-term goals, right?
Yeah.
And those are to connect this to like the Thais. How happy do the Thais seem? And what do they have? Not much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a balance for
It's
me.
interesting, right?
Yeah, the Japanese have order and structure, and it seems like they have things figured out. But I feel like suppression and it might just be me when I'm resonating from like the populace when I'm walking the streets and so on. They seem like head down, just kind of like walking.
Yeah. It's the culture, right? This way they're brought up, and it's good in a way, right? But like like I always say this, like who knows what's good and what's bad,
Right? Yeah. Yeah. We're all on our own journey.
Yeah, who knows what's good and what's bad. Maybe that is the way. That's the way for them,
right?
And we're all different. Every single person is different. You can say, oh, Americans, like how many different? We're all different. Every single person is different. We all have different brains, different nervous systems, ways of being. So who knows what's good and what's bad?
I appreciate that.
What's that?
Well, America allows that, like the individualism, right?
Yeah.
So in the Thais, like there's like the Thai way, there's the Japanese way, and there's beauty to that, obviously. But then America is such a melting pot of beauty. It's like last night rolling. How many different? That's what's cool about martial arts. Like we're all one on the mat. Like all the religions are gone. All the races
we're
are
all
gone.
one. I was watching your highlight, and you were fighting Genkusudo.
Oh, Genki, yes.
And he did the crane thing at the end.
That was just, oh man, that was like, fun. Yeah, that was just, I was just frustrated. I wanted to put a little.
You're
a
savage, man. A savage.
Genki was awesome though, huh?
Yeah, he was one of the top guys. Yeah, he come in with "We Are One," the flag.
Yeah,
all the different flags. What an
cool.
ambassador for the sport.
Yes. That was like a good example of what martial arts
was. That his last fight in the UFC?
I don't know actually. Good call. That was UFC 42.
Because I don't remember seeing him after that.
Yeah,
Can you
you're
look
right.
it up, Kevin? See if that was Genki Suda's last UFC fight. Because
I
don't remember seeing. I remember him doing like cool stuff in the UFC.
His entrances were always super cool.
Amazing, And then you had the fight with him, and you're just like, oh my god.
That was an easy first fight in the UFC. Not that any fight in the UFC is ever easy. Well, my fastest knockout was easy, so that worked out, right? But that was a tough opponent at the time on paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went from, and I maybe just reiterating, people already know this, but I thought that Jens Pulver was the UFC champion at the time, but he left the organization. I was able to beat him in another show.
TKO, yeah. Like I always tell people, like, yeah, you would have been the UFC champ,
Yes, sir.
like lineal wise, right?
Yes.
Because they got rid of the lightweight division. He was the champ, and then he was trying to stay active, get another fight, make money, right? And so he fought in a Canadian promotion called TKO.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And then I was watching that in your highlight too,
That was
where
good
because he was a striker, right? He was like he would knock people out too. Yeah.
Levels. Sorry.
Yeah, and then then he went against you, and then you hit him a few times, and you dropped him, right? And he like ran out of the ring.
Yeah, poor guy. I felt bad for that.
What a highlight, man. For the guys like, man, I'm in trouble, you know.
But he was the UFC lightweight champion, but also the pound for pound #1 champion at the time.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because that was a good example just for teaching martial arts.
Was that Genki Sudo's last fight?
He had one more after that.
One more after that. About who?
Oh wow.
Mike Brown.
I know I fought Mike Brown.
1 year after that. Okay, yeah.
So I kind of, my fight with Jens Pulver, because we are open stance where he is southpaw and I was orthodox, and on paper you're supposed to, everyone says to step away from the power. And he said step away from the power, but I actually went into his power. Now that's bring me back to what Hui said. His favorite technique is what's present. And because I went into his power, what was present is for Jens to throw his power, but everyone says to go away from the power, right? But that made him throw it, so I knew it. So all I had to do was just be out of the way of it, but you could feel the presence because I was a bit taller and longer anyway, so I could put out of the range of his punch. If you look at the video,
Scientist.
it's like we're dealing with
scientist, the real fight scientist.
There's like
Duane Bang.
3 inches of missing
Bang.
the punch. Like that's a gamble, like to go into his power, but just to know where it's at. But you're just present in the moment, like I was. I'm like, I know what's going on, but I'm not thinking here. You're just feeling it. So I go into the power to make him throw it, and then just come right outside of it and be able to counter it. So I don't always advise that, but was able to allow that. And I don't want to take too much credit for it, but it's just like what happens, like you go there, but you know you're going there, right? It's like, okay, it's dangerous to cross the street, but just look both ways first, right?
I mean, it's the fight business, right?
But yeah, like that's what makes it so intriguing, right? It's like there's the race and there's the gamble, is to go into the line of fire, and well, you know where the fire is at. And the snake can't bite you if you know it's there. So that was a good time. That was a fun one to beat the UFC champion, pound for pound fighter at the time, and get my first. That was my first world title. But I don't always advise that, but I do advise it as well. So it's like you have to be willing to take that gamble to either be knocked out or to knock them out and just go into the fire and make it happen, right?
That's it.
So the thing with TJ, he always threw himself into the fire. Like not that he didn't care, but he was down for that. Like there was nothing. He shouldn't be running a daycare. He should be fighting the best fighters in the world at that time of his life. And that was my time for the life and your time for the life as well. So we all threw ourselves in the fire, and now it's time to share those lessons, right?
Yeah, that's it. I remember when you first put out that you're gonna have Bang Muay Thai affiliation, and I was like one of the first guys to call you up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And you were in Sacramento. You moved to Sacramento for a bit,
Yep.
at the Team Alpha Male at the time, and we came up there, and then sure enough, like it was, I don't know how many months after that it was, like that next year, we're like Brian came up and we got affiliated, and we started teaching. And Henan Barao was the number one. He was a UFC champ, best pound for pound, right?
Yeah,
in the world at the time. Yeah. And so he was like kind of unbeatable, right? And then TJ Dillashaw. Well, yeah,
I see things.
Yeah, you see things. Yeah. And you're like, no, this and that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And man, sure enough, just like you said, and not that we're surprised, but we were like, the way he did it, right? He just picked them apart, and then new UFC champ, right?
Yeah. I guess I don't know. It's just certain people can just. I understand fighting.
The whole like whoosh,
because it's like
fight,
again, when we talk about Japanese and the order and structure of what it takes to extract one's potential, it's like it is that discipline, in that respect. And it's like there's things that we ask for from our fighters, show up in time, get better, get tired, take care of your partner. So it's like follow these rules. They've been proven and I didn't make these rules up. They've already been there from civilization or whatever. So it's like follow what's already been proven as far as the core principles. It's just put certain techniques in place between those those gray zones. And there's things that are. You see if a person's sitting heavy on their foot, well, if they're heavy on the foot, it just takes longer for them to get back to moving and so on, right? So it's like there's just these patterns of recognition that are already taking place. So you just got to be aware of them, not think of it, but just to know of it and have it in your gut and in your soul to know when to push and when to pull, and right, and again, be efficient with your timing.
That's it. I know we have to go in a couple of minutes. I just wanted to ask you two last questions. What advice do you have for somebody with a lot, getting a loss, right? Whether it's jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, wrestling, Muay Thai, MMA, right? How do you deal with the loss?
I guess it would depend on how the loss was, if they got totally dominated or if it was something that they continually get. Because jiu-jitsu, for example, or I guess striking, is it something that they've been hit with or submitted with multiple times prior to that event, or was it a fluke kind of thing? But in short, regardless, get back on the horse. Don't redline the body where the heart and the soul is out of it, where you're just it's becoming a job and mundane. Still have that passion and that fire and that purpose and that drive, but to hopefully not push it too hard, but to allow those techniques to present themselves, like Hoist Gracie was saying. But losses happen, and like the cliche thing to say is to learn from them. What do you learn from them, right? But it's if there's a loss, that's a lesson. And it's true when people say you don't learn those lessons, right? You don't learn much from your wins. You learn more from your losses. But I've learned great things from wins and losses because I'm just very analytical, and I try to watch the fights and go back and see how I felt, in that time and so on. But get back on the horse. A loss is only a loss. If you allow it to be a loss, let it be a lesson.
That's it. And then what advice do you have for somebody finding the correct martial arts school for them?
Oh, one more time?
What advice do you have for someone looking for a martial arts school for them?
I guess, what is their purpose? Is it competition? Is it the self-defense? Is it fitness? Because there's fight schools, and they just cater to the fighters, and they'll get in shape, obviously, be a part of a good community and so on. I'm a big person on I don't want to sound like a hippie and vibration, right? There's your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Like your school here is absolutely amazing. I love what you've see. Did you build this, or did it? Yeah, did it? I don't say manifest either, but did it just come into fruition? Like it just kind of, but it came from your soul, because you're such a good guy, and like your energy is what's I feel this all here. Like you're a peaceful warrior, the warrior in the garden. Like you could literally take people's lives, but you're one of the nicest people I've ever met, right? So it's like your presence is what's building this place, because it trickles into him and into her, into the kids, and you can see it and you can feel it. So I guess it'd be, and maybe some, I don't think some asshole fighter maybe needs to be here to become a part of what a true martial artist is to be someone who could take someone's life very efficiently, but chooses to be peaceful and help people out, right? So go do a free class, free week, or whatever the school may present itself, and see how you feel there.
See how you feel. That's it.
Right. Go off of that, and then your feelings are going to change. Because if I were to come here, or if I were to come to my school when I was 15, at 15, I'm trying to kill people. I was I had anger issues and the childhood trauma. I wanted to knock people out, and I wanted to fight and become the champion. So I don't think at the time it would have been good for me to go to a taekwondo school. Yeah. It would have been good for me to be in a fight gym. So there's different stages and areas of one's life as well. I'm getting more into my sage, area of life. I'm going to be 47 on Monday. So it's I'm looking for more peace and balance and to help, not being as selfish now. So I'm looking to share. And now my reward is to see someone find themselves, to have balance and have structure and be able to throw combinations and shoot the double leg and, efficiently attack the arm bar and defend the arm bar and do things like that and help them become better. That's what's bringing me pleasure. And it's not about me bringing me pleasure, but it's about being of service to the world. And that's what makes me feel like I'm in the present moment, is to help people become better versions of themselves, right? So I guess, again, to answer your question,
that's the goal for the students, and that you want to be in that kind of a place, right? Mm-hmm. Like you as a coach, as a mentor, mm-hmm. and the student should want to have help. To help,
right? Help become better, right? Most efficient, you take it's a valuable gift to you, and you give it to your kid, and they just throw it away. You're like, they didn't. I think that was my part of my soul was in that material object for whatever reason. There's things that have different meanings to it, even though it's a material thing. It's what was meant behind that present, right? And they just throw it away. You're like, well, I feel like that's what God is doing with us. He gave us this opportunity to be on life. You've been given the gift of life. while you're here on earth, did you love or did you hate? Like when at the end of the day, when the lights are out, what did you do with the time on this world? Did you love people or did you hate people? You know, like love, if you loved them, then did you hug them and help them become better? That's what we should be doing.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It's always awesome. Always have a great
time.
I'm
becoming better because of you in this school, right? So like, and thank you for allowing me to share the system. You know, like I need people to open up the doors to the system so I can do what I do. What I would feel I'm supposed to be doing is sharing martial arts. You know, efficient, effective martial arts, train safe and effectively. So
that's it.
Thank you for the opportunity to make a positive impact on people's lives.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.